Hello, and welcome to this episode of Hammering Down. I'm your host, Kaylor Hodges, and I'm hoping you're having a great day. All right, so I'm going to do something a little bit different in this episode. I'm going to split half of this on YouTube, half of this is going to be podcast. If you're a podcast player only, you can watch the first half of this on YouTube, and it might make a little bit more sense. But if you're pretty good at like following along and visualizing things, then you don't have to. But there is a visual element to this. So, with that said, I want to go ahead and get straight into this. No League Two or W League updates. There were matches that happened. Legion 2 dropped 2 matches. W League gets when? Oh, I say there's gonna be no update, but let me look. Yeah, I don't remember if what the last time we talked was, which is why I couldn't remember. Legion do drop points to Asheville City, lost 2-0. I couldn't remember if the last time we talked, if they had just beaten one Knox or if they lost to Asheville. Couldn't remember when it was. They had lost Asheville 2-0. You have just 2 more home games left to go to. One of them is tomorrow, the 17th at 3:30 p.m., which should be a good time. Go out there, Southern Soccer Academy. It's at the training field. And then one last home game in June, which is going to be against Tennessee SC on the 25th. So go watch that. So here's our visual element. I'm going to be breaking down the goals and kind of like what happened defensively and the goals scored, not the own goal, the actual goal scored, and why I think things are kind of going wrong. Now, with that, I also am going to kind of discuss the changes that were made. With this match, we see Legion go to a 3-4-3. I had originally called it a 3-5-2, which is Mark Briggs' style. He does like the 3-5-3, the 3-5-2. But this, it's kind of hard to say. I think that everything's going to tell you that it is a 3-4-3 with Enzo playing the left wing, Preston Tabarteca playing the right wing, and Ronaldo Damas up top in the middle of it all. So that's kind of what it's going to show here with Lasso and Hernandez Foster sitting in deep. In fact, I'm going to share my screen so you can see what I am seeing. Do you see what I see? No, you can't, because I can't figure out how to open it up. And bang. Okay, so here's what we're looking at. So on the right-hand side is the lineup. In back was Delgado with Thiago Suarez, Fanuel Kavita back from his 2 starts with the national team. Congratulations to Fanuel. Jake Roof as that right center back, with Lasso on the left, Kobe Hernandez Foster on the right as the 2 kind of holding midfielders. Far right side as that right wing back, Eric Centeno. And then on the left back is Steven Turnbull. As that right wing is Preston, and then left wing was Enzo Martinez, and up top Ronaldo Damas. So when I switch this over, you're going to see this is going to show us average positioning, and it's kind of what you expect. So you saw a lot of, and I know there's a lot of visual clutter going on, so forgive me here, but what you see is you have Preston, Damas, and Enzo all making a pretty strong front 3. It's a pretty heavy front 3. They are pretty even with each other. On the midfield side, Centeno kind of played as a right midfielder this entire match. Meanwhile, his counterpart on the left, Steven Turnbull, played pretty defensively and sat deeper. He is a right wing back. He is a right back by trades. And while he has a competent left foot, he's not a left footer. So it makes sense for him to not go up as far forward and let him be a little bit more of a passing partner with Thiago Suarez. In the midfield, you had Kobe Hernandez Foster going up and pushing a little bit more north. Meanwhile, Edwin Lasso sat in just a hair deeper. Because Centeno pushed up, so did Jake Roof, so he could be a kind of passing partner. That's kind of how this all set up. So I had called it a 5-3-2. It was in practice more of a 3-4-3 where Enzo Martinez would come in deep and act as a kind of central midfielder, but he was really just kind of a passing outlet from time to time. It's kind of hard to explain, but kind of think fluid 3-4-3, 3-5-2. So let's look at the film, and I want to break it down just a little bit. So here, let's look at the goals scored, and this is what I'm talking about. If you look over in this film right now, Enzo Martinez is the one carrying the ball, and when Mark Briggs has talked about speed and energy and being energetic and being fast, I want you to look. I want you to watch Louisville, by the way. But Enzo Martinez drops in deep from that kind of left wing position. On the right hand side, you see Preston. On the left-hand side, you see Steven Turnbull making a run on the left-hand side, Damas in front. As Enzo is pushing forward, he's carrying the ball vertically, which we haven't seen a whole lot of. I want you to watch how Louisville gets back into shape. When we talk about speed, it's not just attacking wise. That said, there is a little bit. Right now, there are 4 attacking players on your screen. 5 if you consider Centeno making a late run on the right-hand side. And you see very soon, you're going to already see Louisville getting back into their 5-4-1 defensive shape. By the time it takes a new member, which is Lasso, the 5th member of the attack to show up, Lou City is already in their defensive block. I want to back up here. I want you to see this happen again. By the time that Enzo Martinez slows it up, waits for runners, waits for people to help him out, by the time that other people show up, Lou City is already in their 5-4-1 block. And where can Enzo go? The only option he could have had a passing option over on the right-hand side of Preston. He could have chipped that long ball out. But even then, if he does that, who's Preston going to pass it to? He doesn't have any options, so he passes it up to Lasso. And if you're looking at what Lasso has the option of, even now, the press is coming in from Goodrum. And so it's pushing him farther forward. What other option does he have? He can lay it off to Kobe, but not much else. He takes a shot. It deflects off Damas. It's a lucky deflection, but there's a reason why Legion weren't able to create anything in this game. And I think it's a symptom of why they are struggling to create in general. Things are just a little bit slow, and they don't have a player in the middle of the field that's a true ball carrier, right? When we think about players who are really elite with Legion, we think of guys like Anderson Asiedu, right? And there's a little bit of Anderson Asiedu was a spitfire. He was energetic. He would kill somebody, right? He was a destroyer in the midfield. But more so than any of that, he was a vertical presence that could dribble the ball. This is the most vertical run that we have seen out of a player, and it's Enzo, and there's no one there to even back him up. And like I said, by the time that Edwin is able to get into some space, the only option he has to shoot, and it is 11v1 essentially, and luckily it works out because Damas gets a lucky deflection. That's tough luck, man. And when I say tough luck, I mean it's tough luck for Louisville because in that play, Legion didn't do much right. There was not a lot of intensity going forward. By the time that Legion had numbers, Lou City was already in a block so tight that you couldn't break it down. That's been the issue. So let's look at this first goal. And I want to just kind of take a look at it because I think you're kind of seeing the downfall of a guy like Centeno, who did not fully impress me in this match, if I'm being really honest. Ray Serrano puts in a good cross. No one really closes it down, but, that's okay. And what happens here, to me, it's simple. Centeno, I think, was just trying to read the deflection of Roof, and Centeno is not goal side. He's on the back post. He is not goal side in front of Dia. This one is a for me, a very simple mistake from the right wing back, Eric Centeno. Cross from Ray Serrano in. Who is going to get there? He needs to get goal side and get front of Dia. Is a point blank finish. It's an easy finish. To me, I think that's on Cincinnati. Here was a moment that had a question, and I need to pull it up because I want to make sure that I'm very exact. But it was from Cole, and give me just 1 second as I pull it. Okay, so he said that Delgado made at least two great saves last night, but I think he overplayed 3 goals. One he got megged, one he tried jumping, and one he got bullied out on, which was the corner. Do you think MVO makes these plays? I think on at least 2 of those he does. This is the one that I don't think he makes the play, Matt Van Oekel, because this is a perfect ball. Taylor Davila, who is arguably the best midfielder in the league. I think it's him, Aaron Malloy, and Juan Davi Torres as the best midfielders in the league right now. And it's an unlucky deflection by Kobe. And just look at this ball. That's just unbelievable. If Delgado comes and attacks it straight away, he can't touch the ball until right now with his hands. And if he's super aggressive, then maybe he's able to get there. But you're risking a handball. You're risking wiping a player out. And so it's better to stay tall. And he gets set. I think this is just a hard moment for him. It's a brilliant ball. Honestly, I don't fault a whole lot here, even defensively. I mean, just look at the ball. Davila, that's just disgusting from Davila. You maybe look at Fanwell, but even then, I don't think that's fair. I mean, Delgado's set. He tries to close the 5-hole, can't. I mean, it's just a brilliant goal and a brilliant pass. Not much here. Here's the one that I think that Delgado is going to have a lot to learn from. And I saw that Thiago Suarez got a little bit of hate for this one because it looks bad because he gets pressed. Here's what I'm going to kind of counter with. I do believe this is Steven Turnbull who has the ball right here. It's kind of hard for me to tell. Or no, Turnbull's making a run. I can't tell who has this ball. So unnamed player has the ball. And there's not a whole lot of places for this ball to go. I think this is Fanwell in the middle calling for the ball, but he can't really play this ball. We are kind of stuck in no man's land. If in all reality, I think the best play here is honestly just to play it out, because by the time that we have this ball coming in, I just want you to look at how fast we get here. Like, it is legit one touch stutter and it's a deflection. That's no time at all. I think that if you're going to be really harsh on Thiago and say, what should he have done better? Attack the ball, I think, is your answer. Go to the ball. Don't let the ball come to you. And just one time out, which he's trying to hit a diagonal ball to, I believe Centeno is who he is trying to hit here, a long diagonal ball. But in all reality, this ball probably shouldn't have been played back. You know that Lou City is going to press. You know that's what they're going to do. That's what Lou City has always done. They are known for being this highly intensive pressing team, and they do just that. And this is part of their triggers. The moment that the ball is passed backward, it is an all-out attack. It is an all-out press. And by the time that Thiago can take a touch, he doesn't have any time to get this ball long. It's unfortunate where this ball deflects to. I don't blame any defenders here. Now, this is where we ask the question about Delgado. I think this is a moment that you saw his youth because, yeah, Cole, you mentioned it. I mean, he made amazing saves all night long, but there's no good reason for him to just jump over the ball. It's kind of humorous looking at it. Just a little whoop. Just whoop. I don't see any point here. Granted, I can't say I would do anything different, but Delgado's tall enough that in all reality, this is point blank. if he gets his feet set, shots coming in, get your feet set, try to react. He's tall enough and close enough that he's going to block a shot if it's in the air. The only way to beat Delgado in this position is the perfect chip, or if Goodrum somehow plays Ray Serrano in, and at that point, what do you do? I think that this is a moment of age, and this is an experience that Matt Van Oekel, who is the goalkeeper coach, and we'll talk about Shadow Wolf's question in a minute, but this is going to be a moment where goalkeeper coach Matt Van Oekel is going to go to Delgado and be like, learning moment for you. This is why you're here. This is why you're playing, is to get experience. And there's just no point to go up. I think that Matt Van Oekel saves this ball. I do. I think that Matt Van Oekel saves this ball because he knows not to jump. I think it's kind of that simple that he has this experience now. I don't think you'll ever have this problem again from Delgado for the rest of his career. If I'm just being completely honest with you, I just don't see this play ever getting the best of Delgado like this ever again. He may get beaten from a one-on-one situation, but I doubt he's just going to jump, just to be honest. But yeah, in general, I don't think that play was fully on Thiago. I don't. Thiago got a little bit of just kind of ridicule for this one. I disagree. I just don't know what you do here. It's an intense press, maybe attack the ball, get it out. Now, I don't have a video of the goal of the corner that was scored, but in my opinion, I think that Matt Van Oekel is maybe able to move some bodies a little bit better than Fernando Delgado. I think that maybe he's going to be able to bully through and at least punch that ball away. But it was a really nice ball put into the box. It was a really nice, it's a really good header. It's a really clean header, very physical. Do I think that Matt Van Oekel can at least bully the ball and maybe put off the attacking player, which was Philip Goodrum? Yes, I do think that. I think that at the very least, Matt Van Oekel would know how to disrupt the play. But I don't think that Delgado is – I don't think he's fully in the wrong there necessarily. Like maybe try to bully through and get a punch out, but he knows he couldn't quite do that. So let your defense do their thing and just try to have a reaction save if you can. And he wasn't able to. At that point, it was game. So let's get to some questions. I want to just kind of get back through here. Yeah, Cole already answered your questions. I hope that answered what I was trying to get to. Now, if you're a video only person, this is where I'm cutting off the video. Go listen to the rest of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed. If you're a podcast only person, we're going to keep rocking and rolling. Cool. All right, so let's get to Shadow Wolf. I know Louisville is a strong team, but since Legion isn't really coming into rhythm, how worried are you about a good run the next 4 to 6 weeks, playoff wise? Let's look at the next 4 to 6 weeks. For Legion, got to pull up the schedule, and here we go. So on Wednesday, Legion are taking on their former Briggs' former club in Sacramento Republic. Really good squad. I think that is a match that is winnable because Sacramento is not showing their best self of what they can be. 0-0 draw to San Antonio, who is a good team. A 1-0 loss to FC Tulsa. They get big wins over Las Vegas, but they immediately fire their coach after that. 1-1 draw to Indy 11. Only a 1-0 win to Oakland Roots. It's not the best version of what you think of when you think Sacramento Republic. This is a winnable game. It is a winnable game. Oakland Roots, that is a must win. If Legion don't walk away with the win on that one, I'm not going to be hyperbolic here. I'm not going to say kiss the playoffs goodbye, but Legion versus Oakland Roots, if Legion are a playoff team, that's a must win. There is no what if the refs. I don't care. I don't care. I just think that this whole that match is a must win. After that, we have a Jägermeister Cup, which I'll get to that in a minute. A home match versus Charles Charleston, that's tough. An away match versus Rhode Island. Rhode Island only getting their first win at home last week, so maybe a defeatable opponent. A match versus North Carolina, which Carolina is a solid team, arguably the hottest team in the league right now. And then a home match versus Colorado Springs, that should be a win. If I'm looking at matches that should be wins, I'm realistically seeing two in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches. I'm seeing 6 points that are like should be locks. Is 6 points over the next 6 matches enough to get you into the playoff picture? With as tight as the East is, maybe. I don't think it's doom and gloom season yet. I think 6 points over the next 6 matches. You're already done with Louisville. You're going to be done with Rhode Island, who is not the best version of themselves, but not really the point. I think that might be enough. And if you can get a draw in there, whether if it's Sacramento or Rhode Island or North Carolina, if one of those three ends up being a draw, you get 7 points from 6 matches. Doesn't feel good for fans. Fans aren't going to like that, but I think it might be enough for playoffs. I really do, at least to keep them in the hunt. With Briggs publicly strong wordings about players who are not performing, who's on the chopping block. Trejo didn't start. Pasher wasn't on the bench. Granted, there could be some injury stuff there. Don't really know. Don't know what's going on with Pasher. I'm not here to, come up with any kind of whatever about that. But Trejo on the bench was a massive moment. He chose to start Enzo at left wing over Danny Trejo, arguably the best left winger in the league. Trejo's been pulled off early in matches. Clearly, there's something tactically that Trejo's not providing that Briggs wants to see other places. I don't know what that means. I think that is an issue. If I'm being completely honest about this squad, players that I think will return next year, or players that I think have I want to say a 95% chance of returning next year. Fernando Delgado, Samuel Kavita, Rami Zamuda, Jake Roof, maybe if he wants to keep playing, possibly an Enzo. Ronaldo Damas, he loves Damas, it appears, so I think he'd be safe. Seba Tregarthen. I think the rest of the players are on chopping blocks. Tyler Pasher, I believe, has contract through next year, so he might be here. But those are the players I think are somewhat safe. I don't know about the rest. I would love to say Moses is, but Moses hasn't been healthy since his injury. What a statement. Smart statement, Kaler. He hasn't been healthy since he's been not healthy. But we'll see what version of him comes back. Is Dawson McCartney in the picture? I hope so, but we haven't really seen much of him this year. Edwin Lasso. Lasso has been massively underperforming what the analytics say he should. He is not connecting at least 6 passes that should be connectable passes. In terms of like expected like pass completed numbers, and just watch the match. It matches the eye test. Like he is not connecting play the way that he should be. Is there a world where Lasso is ripped out of the squad and isn't here next year? Maybe. I don't think he's safe. Roman Torres is in on loan, so can't lock that one in. And so is Thiago Suarez in on loan. Don't know. Matt Van Oekel, he'll be here as long as he wants to be here. Delgado is here on at least multiple years, so there's that. Trevor Spangenberg hasn't played at all this year. Clearly the third choice keeper. The rest of the players, I think I said Jake Roof. I think Jake Roof is safe too. I do think that Roof is safe. That's kind of what I think about players on the chopping block. There's not a lot of safety right now. While MVO, this is also from Shadow Wolf, while MVO is still a good goalie, he is also the goalkeeping coach. Shouldn't it be time to let Delgado play more so he can get more experience? If not, he may be more suited to play at other teams so he can get more minutes. I don't know why Matt Van Oekel did not start. Probably just a little some that showed up in training or in the warm up because he was in the starting 11, then he wasn't. I think that it may be time to give Delgado a lot more minutes because if this season's a wash, Delgado's going to be the starting goalkeeper more than likely next year. He needs experience. If this season is not a wash and we get hot with Delgado, then a lot of players have said Delgado's the best passer on the team. It completely changes the way you play. It completely changes the way that Briggs can play. They can go to a four-man back line and allow Delgado to be that great passer that he is and allow him to flow. But until then, I think it may be time, personally. Um, if Kaler, me, would be Coach Briggs for one game and honor the not looking in the mirror equals gone, which key player would you have on the bench? Um, okay, so that's a hard one for me because I don't know who that was directly pointed at, just to be honest. I don't. I don't know which player is not holding themselves accountable, but for me, the moment that a left back is healthy, fully healthy, AJ or Moses or Dawson, Centeno's out of the lineup for me. He is a really good technical player, but I have not seen much to tell me that he should be starting over Steven Turnbull. And we need a left footer on the left hand side. So for me, Centeno will be the one to the bench. But I really don't know who he is talking about. So I'm not trying to claim that Centeno has been that guy. Some lighthearted. What's your favorite stadium food? Even if you don't eat the stadium, what would you eat? Nothing from the BJCC in Protective Stadium. However, I love wasabi wands. Wasabi wands is one of the food trucks. Get it anytime I can. At BBVA Field, we had an Indian food truck, which was just so good. It was so good. Yeah, I would love to have that food truck again. And that is that from the Twitter side. So let me go over to Blue Sky, which is from Timothy Bellin, who is with Birmingham Sports. Read all of his stuff. He did a really nice deep dive on Mark Briggs. I think you would all love reading it. You'll probably address this anyway, but here's how you felt about the 5-3-2. Should it be the formation moving forward or only used in specific matches? I'm for using it. I think that this team is set up in a way to do it. I think, however, if you're going to go with a three-man back line, there is a how do I want to figure this out? One of Enzo, Trejo, or Pasher are going to be dropped. You're leaving a really quality attacking player on the bench. I think that the more likely answer here is that I think you should go back to the 4-1-4-1 or 4-3-3, however you want to think of it, and have some variation of Ramis and Fanwell or Jake Roof and Fanwell or Thiago and Fanwell, and let your fullbacks do their thing. Let them be overlapping. Let them have a good time. And then have a Trejo, Pasher, Enzo do something in the midfield. I think that's the move for right now. But if Briggs is down to be ruthless and say, we don't need one of those players in this team, I don't see any reason why you get away from that 3-4-3, 3-5-2. I think it's totally fine. I think that is totally okay. Let me go over to Discord now as I am trying to pull up these questions. I'm so good at what I do. Look at me go. Let's see. All right. After the Louisville match, who do you think our ideal back line? It doesn't have to be a three-man. I kind of addressed that. If it is sticking to a three-man, I think possibly dropping Thiago with Ramis for an experiment just to see where it is. But I am kind of a Jake Ruth truther. You all know this. However, I think the reason I kind of have a little bit of statistics to kind of back this one up. Jake Roof completed the second most passes in this game, only behind Kobe Hernandez Foster. Right. You don't really think of Jake Roof, the pass connector, but that's what he did. He had some of the most touches in the game, and he has every time that Jake Roof has played, he has been a connector of the ball. He has been able to connect the ball with the back line to the midfield as much as he can. He's not trying to go hero ball, but he does a great job. And for the most part, Jake is a pretty progressive passer. There are not many times that he has gone backwards in these matches. He is fairly progressive as a passer, and I think that that is worth keeping around. I think that Jake Roof has been one of the best players. I really do. I think that leaving him out of the lineup would be frankly wrong. And when you look at what Jake provides in terms of heart energy. We've talked about energy so much. You've never questioned Jake Roof's like how am I going to say this? His love for the badge. He loves it, man. Like he loves the team. He loves the fans. Go talk to him. He is passionate, man. And when we are talking about heart, and that's what Briggs is talking about, he's never mentioned, oh, tactically we effed up today. It's hey, we didn't have energy. We had no emotion today. Jake Roof brings it every time. Um, let's see. And there was another one. Should we even have expectations at this point, or more appropriately, how far are we saying F it until we do better next year when Briggs can get more of the guys he wants? That's a great question. Um, for me, it's full on Jägermeister. Like go for the cup. Do not hold anything back against Indy 11. Don't even play around with Ford Madison. You are going for the cup. I don't think that this is the year that Legion will make a Eastern Conference final. I don't think this is the year. I definitely don't think this is the year where Legion make a USL final. The likes of Loudoun, Charleston, and Louisville are just too good. I just got to be honest with you. They're too good. However, there's no reason why this team can't be that good. I think there's a conversation here of the kinds of players that Legion need. And the best version of Legion had a bunch of scrappy guys who were not proven. Think about your Anderson Acedos. Yes, he was drafted first round, Atlanta United, all that kind of stuff. Very unproven. He was not a professional athlete. He got a little bit of playing time with Atlanta United, mostly with two, but he was mostly unknown. Bruno Lapa, again, he was a guy who just won League Two Player of the Year. That's not like a Danny Trejo who's gotten to move to Europe. That is not a Ronaldo Damas who's gotten to move to Europe. That's not a Tyler Pasher who got to move to MLS, right? There are players that I think are scrappy, young, and hungry that Legion, when they were at their best, that's who they had. They had scrappy, young, and hungry players. And who was surrounding those, like who was surrounded by that? Guys like Nico Brett, right? They were able to surround Nico Brett with guys who were just hungry and just desperate. Guys like Johnny Dean, a second round draft pick out of MLS. There's no reason why he should be who he is now, but he was young and hungry. They were able to build off that. And you look at some guys who kind of flamed out MLS. Zach Caravo was one. Alex Cronale, those are guys that did well. Fanwell Kavita. There's guys who didn't quite hold down a playoff spot or hold a roster spot in MLS. They've done well. But the players who turned out to be superstars were guys fresh out of the draft, guys who didn't even get drafted, who grinded their way through League Two. Those are the guys that made Legion this really scrappy, scary team to play. And they've come through and they have made big name signings. Juan Agudelo, one of the biggest signings in league history. When you talk about former U.S. men's national team player coming to play for Birmingham, that's a huge signing at the time. Uh, Danny Trejo ends up being one of the best players to ever grace this league. Same for Ronaldo Damas. You see that out Damas. Damas is just unbelievable. Just watch him. I know he's not scoring the goals, and he's still scoring. By the way, don't give Damas the goal against Louisville. I know it hit off him, and I know technically yes, but come on. At least give Lasso an assist. But I think those are the kind of players they need to be going after, personally. Yeah. I think that's all the questions that I end up getting. I don't think I saw any more. If I did get some more, I am so sorry that I missed it. I just get mad at me later. So yeah, thank you all so much for listening. I appreciate you all. Until next time, guys, keep hammering on.